Morning, leafing peoples. I've had this Icecap K 100 for several years now, so I'm in a good position, I think, to give a long-term review of this. And let me start off by saying it works great. It has some good qualities, it has some bad qualities. The important part is it makes a skim mate. It's fairly reproducible, so I have no problem with its performance, but it does have some issues, and one of them has to do with cleaning, and one of them has to do with the setting of it, and one of them has to do with if you take this pump out, which I would recommend you don't ever do. Just take the volute off and clean the impeller, put it back in, because there is a grommet, for lack of a better word, that holds the pump in this hole. I really don't like the way they do this, but they do. And that little grommet goes on here, thusly, and then you have to snake. Sometimes I wish I had another hand, but it would look funny. You have to snake that up in here. It's not easy to do. So that's one issue. The other issue is control, and we'll talk about this once I get this housing off. And the main issue is the bubble plate. The holes are so small it gets dirty very easily and your performance goes to hell. So let's take this housing off and take a look. Okay, to take the housing off is easy. You don't have to take the screws out, just loosen them, and you see there's key slots in here. You just rotate it a small amount, it pops off. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. This is the bubble plate. So the pump is underneath. The pump has a needle wheel impeller in it and a venturi. So it's sucking air, it's chopping the air up with water and mixing it, and it shoots it up through here. And this is what disperses the bubbles. And these holes are so incredibly small that this gets clogged up very quickly, less than a month. And you have to clean it. Now, sometimes I'm lucky enough that I can just use a spray and spray down in here all the way down and knock stuff out, and sometimes not. Sometimes I have to take it apart and clean this. And once a month cleaning a protein skimmer, to me, is really too much. It should at least last several months. Now, what I'm thinking of trying is just removing this, and thus the pump would just shoot straight up into here, and I would see how many bubbles I get. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it right now, actually. The other issue this has had, I've talked about this before, oh, there's my big thumb in the way, is the control. So this is a sliding gate. Did you see that little orange thing move there? But the teeth on this are too coarse. See how coarse they are? You need finer control. You need to be able to really tune this thing in. So because of those way those teeth are, a very small movement in this handle, very small, results in a large change in water. So it's very easy to get this thing to overflow or underflow. So I don't care for this, but I've learned to live with it. But this right here is an issue that I really don't like. So if I drill the holes out, it's obviously they'd last longer, and maybe I could go longer without cleaning it. I'm not sure what that would do. The first thing I want to try, I'm just going to take this off and see what I get. So let's hook this up in some salt water and look at the performance with the way it is now, all right? Okay, we got her put back together. It's in a bucket of salt water, and that's what the foam looks like. That looks pretty normal to me. I don't see anything weird about it. Okay, so now let's take the diffuser plate out and see what we get. And here's one of the problems with taking this diffuser off. Look where they put the screws. These are not key slotted. You have to actually take them out. They're directly underneath. Engineers, sometimes they really got to think about what they're doing. Let me get it out of there. Well, that was a pain in the arse. Okay, so the diffuser plate is off, and you can see straight down into the pump impeller. So we're just going to rely upon the venturi and shooting it up in here. But I suspect diffuser plates are there for a reason, don't you? All right, let's keep going. Okay. All right, here we go. Diffuser plate's out. It's just sitting there. And honestly, I can't tell much difference. Wow. This is really great. Because this thing here gives me a lot of grief. And I really don't see a whole lot of difference. It may be more chaotic. In other words, the spread of bubbles is not as laminar and uniform. But other than that, it looks like it looks just as good to me. Here's what I was telling you about the sensitivity of this thing. Just the slightest little motion can cause a large change in response. It kind of drives me nuts. Well, that was pretty live breaking news here. I think I can take that diffuser plate out. Oh well, hope you found it useful. See you later.